up, it's cinemashogun here, and Gabby Petito's name has been in the headlines once again for the last couple of days now. And I feel like this is one of those extremely rare occasions where a victim gets a second chance at justice. Because make no mistake about it, Brian killed any chance of Gabby getting real justice when Brian took himself out. Obviously it was selfish what Brian did. It was selfish of Brian to take Gabby away from the world and from everyone that loved her, but it was also selfish to take himself out. So there would always be these unanswered questions. To take himself out so he never had to face the consequences. So he never had to face Gabby's parents. I'm telling you right now, and Gabby's parents have said it in the past, they did not want this outcome. They didn't want Brian to end himself somewhere in a swamp. They wanted Brian to answer for what he did. And I assume they wanted some answers from Brian. But we never got those. And it felt like we never got any real justice. Now, obviously, we're all grown. We know that Gabby's not coming back. But at the very least, if we see some type of justice served through these lawsuits that the Petitos have filed against the Laundries, then hey, I'm here for it. It's better than nothing. And I think I don't want to say a reason to celebrate because it's obviously still a sad situation. But at the very least, we're getting something. I think there's so many victims out there. There's so many families out there who have been in situations kind of like this one. And they're never going to get any answers. They're never going to get any justice. At the very least, I believe this lawsuit is going to force the Laundries into admitting some things that they would never admit. As we see, they finally admitted that Brian told them that Gabby was gone. It took them this long to finally admit that. So at the very least, I am happy and grateful for the fact that the Laundries are being pulled out of their comfort zone, and they're going to have to somewhat face the music. Even if it's just answering a few questions, sullying their name even more, because these are things that we should have known. I think it's terrible that all this time has passed and the Petitos are having to fight tooth and nail just to get some details. Just to get a few details. Gabby's gone. Brian is gone. I don't know what the Laundries are going through. And I can't really care too much about what they're going through. Even though they lost a child as well. But the Laundries having lost a child, the child being gone, the Petitos having lost a child. The reality is this. The Laundries, they have all of their questions answered. The Laundries can sleep well at night without this uncertainty in the back of their mind because they got to spend a few days with Brian before he was gone. They got to ask questions. They got to take that last little family camping trip. They got some form of closure. And they got answers to the questions I'm sure they had. The Petitos have never had that luxury. And obviously, Brian's not here to tie up some loose ends and to answer some of these questions, but the Laundries are. And I honestly feel like if the Laundries had a single ounce of human decency within their soul, they could have talked to the Petitos by now. And we probably wouldn't be here. I don't think that the Petitos want to drag this information out of the Laundries and have to fight for years to do this, on a public scale where the world knows, I guarantee you, well, I can't guarantee it, but I bet you that if the Laundries just had a sit down and talked with the Petitos and answered their questions, that they would have felt better about the situation. But of course, the Laundries weren't doing that. So now the Laundries are going to get dragged through court, and the whole world will eventually know the details that unfold within court. But as I said, Gabby's name is all over the headlines again. I want to play a couple of news clips about what's going on, and then I'll be right back with a few more thoughts.
Some startling new details emerge from the already shocking Gabby Petito murder case. The parents of Brian Laundrie have offered information about a phone call with their son that was made about 2 days after the alleged strangulation. 8 on Your Side investigator Walt Petito is here with that story.
Jen, Brian Laundrie admitted killing Petito in a suicide note, but there's been scrutiny focused on his parents about what they knew and when they knew it.
I was trying to get him to stop telling me something.
Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie were seen alive but upset on Moab, Utah police body camera video during this August 12, 2021 stop for a domestic violence check. Just over a month later, the 22-year-old's body was found in Wyoming. Chris and Roberta Laundrie said they talked to Brian after Petito was reported missing, but we've heard virtually nothing about what was discussed.
We have a statement.
Until now, Pat Riley, the Petito's attorney in their civil lawsuit against the Laundries, has revealed new information. According to Riley, during a deposition for the civil case, the Laundries described what was said to be a frantic phone call with Brian a couple of days after Petito was allegedly murdered by strangulation. During that August 29, 2021 phone call, the Laundries said Brian told them Gabby was, quote, gone, and that he needed a lawyer. Riley says the Laundries did not admit knowing Petito was murdered, only that their son said she was gone.
Doing some morning yoga.
But Riley tells us that conversation is a direct conflict to the Laundrie statement during the search for Petito several days after the phone call, that they hoped she would be reunited with her family.
They started suspecting around the 12th, I think it was, or started to have concerns when they finally reported her as a missing person. So is she alive or isn't she alive? Those are certainly thoughts in their head, but they have hope. And when this statement is made, it just elevates their hope.
The Petitos are suing the Laundries and their attorney, Stephen Bertolino, for alleged intentional infliction of emotional distress, claiming they knew Gabby was dead, but still offered hope to her family. Bertolino declined an offer to comment about the deposition. The Laundries' attorney has not responded yet to her request for comment. And the civil case is scheduled to go on trial in May. A motion that could force Bertolino to reveal what Laundrie told him is scheduled for later this month.
We have disturbing new information about the man suspected in the death of his fiancée, Gabby Petito. We all remember this heartbreaking story. The 22-year-old disappeared during a cross-country road trip with Brian Laundrie in 2021. Now her parents claim in a lawsuit that Laundrie's parents knew Petito was dead long before she was reported missing. Meg Oliver has the latest in this drama that continues to get national attention.
Nearly 2 weeks before Gabby Petito was reported missing, Brian Laundrie's parents received a, quote, frantic phone call from their son, according to new court documents. The lawsuit filed by Petito's parents against Laundrie's and their lawyer alleges that Brian Laundrie told his parents that Petito was, quote, gone and that he needed a lawyer.
It was startling to hear those words coming out of their mouth as to what they actually knew.
Petito family attorney Patrick Riley says they learned these details alleged in the lawsuit during depositions given by the Laundries and claimed they knew Gabby Petito was dead and intentionally misled them with public statements like, "It is our hope that the search for Miss Petito is successful and that Miss Petito is reunited with her family."
They made statements knowing that Gabby was no longer alive, and as a result of which they gave hope to the family.
For weeks, local authorities, the FBI, and Petito's family traced Gabby's whereabouts.
What's your guys' names?
Gabby Gabby.
Gabby, Brian, okay.
This encounter with Utah police, who were called to a domestic violence incident, was one of the last times the 22-year-old was seen alive.
He really stresses me out.
Laundrie later returned to his parents' Florida home in Petito's vehicle, but as the search for Petito intensified, Laundrie went missing. Petito's body was eventually found in Wyoming. A month later, Laundrie was found dead in a wooded park in Florida with a note confessing to the killing.
But I think what they might get is satisfaction of holding the Laundries accountable and Attorney Bertolino accountable.
The FBI concluded its investigation earlier this year, and the Laundries have never been criminally charged for Petito's death. For CBS Mornings, Meg Oliver, New York.
Now, I've had a few people ask me, do I think something's going to happen to the Laundries? Do I think the Laundries are going to get charged or locked up and thrown in jail? And the answer to that question is no. If something was going to happen to the Laundries, it would have happened by now. But like I said earlier in the video, at the very least, they're getting pulled out of their comfort zone and they're being forced to answer questions that they would have never that they would have never answered. And I'm telling you right now, spoiler alert, the answers to all of these questions make the Laundries look absolutely terrible. Now, the Laundries are still trying to play this BS card saying, oh, well, Brian told us Gabby was gone and he needed a lawyer, but we didn't know for sure what that meant. You knew for damn sure what that meant. I don't want them to try to use this play on words, oh, well, Brian said she was gone. He didn't say she was dead. You went out and hired a high-powered legal defense team. You guys were making all the necessary moves for Brian to eventually have to go to trial for killing Gabby. They knew what Brian did. Brian told them. And they're trying to use Brian's choice of words as if it's going to get them out of this, or as if it makes them look any better. Listen, the dude called you frantic, told you what was up, drove all the way back home across country in Gabby's car, hung out at your house for however long with Gabby's car. Gabby's reported missing. These people knew. These people knew. But now that we know that they knew, I guess we can start questioning, why did they allow him to go to the swamp? And what changed? What changed in Brian? Because now looking at the timetable, it doesn't look like Brian made the decision to end himself until right around the time that he ended himself. It looks as if Brian was going to try to fight it. Brian was going to try something. So was it the guilt? Was it the public pressure adding up? Was it something that happened at home? Who knows? Maybe those are details we'll never find out, but I can guarantee you we're going to find out more. And the last missing pieces to this puzzle are going to start falling into place over the next couple of years as this lawsuit and everything plays out. But for now, let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comments. While you're down there, if you're feeling generous and you want to support the channel, you can do so directly via Cash App. I will have my Cash App in the pinned comment section of this video, and shout out to any and everyone who has been sending donations. It goes a long way into helping me and to helping this channel. Also, you can donate to the channel via Super Thanks, or for free, you can help the channel a lot by subscribing, ringing the notification bell, leaving comments, liking the video, and all of that good stuff. But with that being said, I'll talk to you all soon in the next video.